So it's Christmas and it's the 25th day of December, so I thought I would do my top 25 NBA player ranking update right now. And I haven't really done a mid-season player ranking in quite some time. I usually do my top 50 players, predicting those guys throughout the following NBA season. And this is who I think is ranked 25 to 1 right now, current day. So there's no Jason Tatum, there's no Tyrese Haliburton, and if you're dealing with some injuries this year as well, that could dock you a little bit. And like always, this is insanely tough. This is my subjective list. I would love to know what you agree with or disagree with down below. I'd love to know your top 5, your top 10, and anything else you maybe want to let me know down below. And before we get into this, there are so many honorable mentions, like Scotty Barnes, Denny of Diop, Lowry Markkanen, Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, De'Aaron Fox are all in this consideration, and also LeBron James. I had him just as my number 26 guy. It's tough, but watching LeBron James as a 41-year-old, I just don't think he's a top 25 player in the league anymore. He's still a really good player. I still think he's a top 30 player. I just wanted to give some more love to 25, 24, 23. But if you want to have LeBron there, that's fine with me. And coming in at number 25, I have somebody that's breaking out this year that should be a first-time All-Star, Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks. Jalen Johnson has been the best player in Atlanta this year with or without Trae Young. He's averaging 24 points, 10.5 rebounds, 8 assists, 52% from the field, 38% from three, 82% from the free throw line in about 28 games this season. His numbers have gone up across the board. Last year, we thought he could win most improved player. He played only 36 games, had season-ending shoulder surgery, and now he's breaking out to maybe being the guy Atlanta's going to build around in the offensive half court, because in the defensive half court, there are still some issues here, and that's why I don't have Jalen Johnson any higher right now, because he's not Trae Young bad defensively, but he's close to it. I don't really trust him on the perimeter. I don't think he's got great defensive instincts. Maybe that's going to come over time, but it does feel like he's just an offensive-minded guy right now. There's no issue in that, but I will dock you a couple spots if you're going to be higher in this top 25. And we haven't really seen Jalen Johnson play meaningful minutes for the Hawks in the playoffs. He played 2 games against the Heat in 2022, playing just garbage time, and then averaged around 9 minutes in the 6 games against Boston in 2023. So it'll be 3 years since we've seen Jalen Johnson in the playoffs, and the Hawks this year have been slightly disappointing. They're 15-16 with Jalen Johnson being their number 1 option. I know Trae's been hurt. I know they have had a ton of big man injuries so far this year as well. Jalen Johnson has the stats of somebody that could be a little bit higher than this, but everything built in, defense, winning, I just got to dock him a little bit, but still coming in at 25. Coming in at 24, maybe he's still the most underrated player in the NBA, Pascal Siakam of the Indiana Pacers. Siakam was just the number 2 option on a team that won the Eastern Conference Championship last year, that brought the Oklahoma City Thunder to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And I know he's not a part of winning basketball right now in Indiana. The Pacers are one of the worst teams in the NBA, a 6-24 record. No Halliburton, Nesmith, Mather, and Nembhard. A bunch of guys have been banged up this year, but Siakam has still been a really good Indiana Pacer. 23.5 points, 6.8 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 47% from the field, 37% from 3 in his age 31 season. He could still be so crafty around the rim. He's got a great mid-range jumper, a great post game still, and I just saw it work in the NBA Finals just last year, the most recent NBA Finals. He was a really good number 2, so I trust him to be a good number 2 right now, and that's what I still want. And I think Siakam has still been an all-star level talent this year, and I think he should be in everybody's top 25, but I know he's a part of a bad team. You know who's not a part of a bad team? Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's coming in at number 23. Now, Jalen Williams has only played 11 games this year because of injury, and he didn't really have much success in returning to a recent game against the Memphis Grizzlies where he had 24 points and shot 50% from the field. It's been an up and down return, but like Pascal Siakam, I just saw it work for Jalen Williams in the most recent NBA Finals for OKC, being a great number 2 offensively next to SGA. He was the number 2 offensive weapon for the Thunder in their most recent championship. And I also still really like Jalen Williams' defense. Now, I do wonder what his defense would look when he's not a part of the best defensive team in the NBA. He might be out there on an island like some of the other guys that we're going to talk about, but I think all in all, still a good mid-range jumper. He's been a good 3-point shooter. I know it's not been great this year, but he shot 36% from 3 last year, 42% from 3 in 2024. I think he's still recovering from this wrist surgery, and he's maybe not at 100% yet, but 24 years old, a good defender, was an all-defensive guy last year, was an all-NBA guy last year as well. I don't think this is a hot take. And coming in at number 22, too, this may be a hot take to have him ahead of his teammate. Yeah, I got Chet Holmgren of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I just love Chet's defense. What he could do on the perimeter, what he could do as a rim protector. And oh yeah, this guy's going to shoot 40% from three at 7'1". He's averaging around 18 points this year, 7.5 rebounds, 56% from the field, 39.5% from three, and 80% from the free throw line. And I also think what Chet doesn't really show up in the box score. He's rangy. He's got a crazy wingspan. And when offensive players are dribbling it into the paint around Chet Holmgren, his presence just has to be in the back of everybody's mind that he's going to block your shot and he's going to have to kick it out to somebody else. Doesn't show up in the box score. That is the Wemby effect for you. And Chet is averaging about a block and a half this year, down from the 2 blocks per game he's averaged over the last 2 years. And that could be more defenders not trying to test Chet Holmgren because they know it's probably going to end up in a block. He's still 23 years old. Just having a 7'1" rim protector that could shoot 39% from three and still be a solid rebounder as well. I think that's the 22nd best player in the NBA. Coming in at 21, maybe one of the more underrated players as well, like Pascal Siakam. I have Jamal Murray. I think Jamal Murray has leveled up again this year. When I watch Jamal Murray play, there's not many other guys in the league that I think are as aesthetically pleasing to watch as Jamal Murray. He is so shifty, crafty. It's just entertaining to watch. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. This year, the ball is going in. If you remember last year going into the 2025 season, everybody was down on Jamal Murray. He had a terrible Olympics for Team Canada and got off to a slow start. He was also banged up as well in 2025, only playing 67 games. This year, he's played 28 games. He's been healthy for Denver, and he's been one of the best point guards in the NBA. 25 points, 4.5 rebounds, 7 assists a night. Yeah, he may get his career high in assists this year. He's shooting about 50% from the field, 45% from three, and 89% from the free throw line. He is in 50, 40, 90 territory right now, a part of basically the second best team in the NBA, currently ranked third in the Western Conference ahead of the Christmas games. And this year, he's been one of the more controlling, stress-free, great decision-making point guards in this league. He's making phenomenal reads. His connection with Nikola Jokic just somehow gets better and better. It might be one of the best duos in the NBA already. And I have Jamal Murray coming in at 21. I feel like I may be a little bit higher on him. Coming in at number 20. This may also be a hot take at all, but I do have James Harden of the LA Clippers. Now, I was pretty low on James Harden last year, and then he carried this team to a playoff appearance. They won 50 games, and he really kept this offense alive with Norman Powell before Kawhi Leonard came back. And this year, the Clippers are 8-21. They're one of the worst teams in the NBA. It's not because of James Harden. Now, James Harden is what he is defensively. I like his defense more this year than I do watching Jalen Johnson on that end of the floor, but James Harden is averaging 26 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, shooting about 43.5% from the field, 37% from three, and 88% from the free throw line, basically as the number 2 option in Los Angeles next to Kawhi Leonard. You may say maybe those aren't the greatest splits in the world. Hey, it's a 62% true shooting percentage because he's still getting to the free throw line about 8 times a night in the year 2025, almost 2026, and he's 36 years old as well. You also know what you're getting from Harden in the playoffs. It's been more bad than I would say good over the last few years, or maybe in James Harden's career. But yeah, I just think the high level scoring from Harden, the isolation ability, somebody I can trust with the ball in his hands, it's earning him the number 20 spot. Coming in at number 19, his numbers may not look as good as some of the other guys as well because he is a number 2 option in New York, but I do have Karl Anthony Towns of the New York Knicks. The Knicks trade for Karl Anthony Towns going into the 2025 season. They make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Cat obviously has his issues. I think the defense, though, has been better this year than it was last year for the Knicks, and the defensive metrics back that up as well. Cat this year is averaging around 22 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 47% from the field, 36% from three on about 5 attempts a night, and about 86% from the free throw line. He just had a really good game against the Minnesota Timberwolves as the number 1 option with Jalen Brunson out. He had 40 points in that game, 13 rebounds, and knocked down 3 threes. But you kind of know what you're getting from Cat, right? It could be a mixed bag defensively. You're going to get some bad fouls, but you're getting one of the more versatile offensive big men in the NBA. You got to value what he could be as a shooter so much and the gravity he has on the perimeter where teams cannot give him any space whatsoever. He's going to get double teamed sometimes. He's going to get blitzed upon, and he makes good reads. He made a phenomenal pass against the San Antonio Spurs in the Cup finale. He can really make big time plays. He's 30 years old. I still think he's a top 20 guy in this league. One spot ahead of Karl Anthony Towns, I do have Tyrese Maxey, who I think is a polarizing player to rank right now because I can see the true value of having somebody like Jalen Williams as your number 2, then Tyrese Maxey. But Maxey this year has been operating as a number one. He's still playing the most minutes in the NBA at 39.8 per game. He's taken about 23 shots per game, leading the NBA, because you don't know when Paul George is going to play. You don't know when Joel Embiid is going to play. Maxey did have the worst game of his season against Brooklyn recently, but it's been 95% good up to that game. He's averaging 31 points this year. 31 points per game for Tyrese Maxey, 7 assists, 4.5 rebounds, shooting 46% from the field, 39% from three, and 88% from the free throw line. We saw him level up against the New York Knicks a couple years ago in that round one series, trying to be that co-star with Joel Embiid in 2024. And I think Maxey has taken his game up a notch this year. I was worried about Maxey in the non-Embiid Paul George minutes last year because he did struggle as a number one option. Nope, he's looked just fine this year as a number one, and Philly's got to treat him like the franchise guy going forward. But yeah, Embiid with the health right now, I don't think he's a top 25 guy because availability gets factored into this as well. And coming in at number 17, you could have him higher, you could have him lower, and that's Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is still one of the best defensive players in the NBA. He won DPOY last year. He wasn't going to win it if Wemby didn't end up getting hurt, but hey, he still won the award. He's still just 24 years old. I just wonder if there's another level for Mobley to reach. Now, I don't know if we'll ever see that level if they end up moving on from Jared Allen and he's a full-time 5. This year, he's averaging about 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 50% from the field, 35% from three, and 64% from the free throw line. He's currently dealing with a calf injury, but is coming back on Christmas Day. I still value his defense a ton, but like I said, I just wonder if there's another offensive leap to his game. And maybe, yeah, that doesn't happen with Allen or Garland or Mitchell all there right now, taking some of the shots from him. And is he going to be more aggressive ever? The shots have gone up this year, and the scoring has gone up from 18.5 to 19.1. Will we see him eclipse 20 points per game this year? I would like to see that. And if Donovan Mitchell misses a game or Garland is out, I want to see Mobley step up more as a dominant scoring option for this team, because the defense is there. The defense is top 10, top 5 in the league. I want to see the offense get to that top 25. So he's coming in at number 17. Coming in at number 16, another guy that just can't stay healthy, but when he's out there, I still think he's super dominant. This is going to be Anthony Davis for me. Once again, could be another hot take, because when I say that availability goes into this, maybe he shouldn't be ranked this high, but Anthony Davis has looked really good as of late for the Dallas Mavericks. 35 points against the Pelicans, 31 points against the Denver Nuggets as of late, 24 against Philadelphia, 24 against Brooklyn. Brooklyn's been a good defensive team as of late as well. AD's numbers this year, about 21.5 points per game, 11.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 52% from the field, 32% from three on about 2 attempts a night. But it just looked good out there, man. And Anthony Davis was a top 10 guy in the league before he got traded for Luka Doncic at the 2024 deadline. And then he only plays 9 games with the Mavericks last year. He's only played 15 games this year because he's dealt with a calf strain and a Achilles scare that you just don't want to mess with whatsoever. So you have to be very cautious when they're going to return. But when he's out there, I think AD is a fringe top 15 player in the league. I hope we see him on a playoff team this year, if that's going to be the Dallas Mavericks, who have been playing some better basketball as of late, or if he's going to get traded to a different team that's trying to make a finals push. Either way, AD still provides you tremendous value on both ends of the floor, and that's why I have him ranked so high, because I think the defense isn't that far apart from Evan Mobley. You could tell me AD is a better defender, and I can't really disagree with you there. And I think AD is a much better offensive player than Evan Mobley still at this point, and that's why I have him ranked 1 spot higher. Also, maybe an unpopular pick here at number 15. I have Kawhi Leonard of the LA Clippers. Look at Kawhi Leonard this year. He's been a top 15 guy in the league. This team is just not winning games because the bench is bad. This whole team is old. Bradley Beal got hurt. There's the disaster and distraction with Chris Paul and not signing this year. But Kawhi in 19 games, averaging 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 49% from the field, 37% from three, and 98% from the free throw line. It's kind of insane that Kawhi Leonard is taking about 5.1 free throws a night and knocking down 97.9% of those. This is the best offensive Kawhi season I have seen since maybe the first year with the Clippers back in 2020. But he's also asked to do so much because this team has been so bad. Like I said with James Harden, they are 8-21. They don't own their first round pick. I mean, I would trade for this Kawhi Leonard if you know he could play. Kawhi's playing like a top 10 guy in the league. I just have to dock it a little bit just because I don't know when he's going to be healthy. But yeah, normally AD and Kawhi would be higher based off the production they're giving us. I just can't tell you if they're going to stay healthy or not. And I do wonder if Kawhi would get traded at this point, because I do think he's playing like a top 15 player in the league still. Coming in at number 14, I have Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns, somebody that I could rely on a little bit more than Kawhi to stay out there. 26 games this year for a very solid Phoenix Suns team. This year, the Suns are about 16-13 in the Western Conference, overachieving. Devin Booker doesn't really have that much help offensively, so he's getting double teamed a ton this year because his number 2 option, Jalen Green, has barely played this year with a hamstring injury. Bradley Beal is gone. Kevin Durant got traded, and Booker, in his age 29 season, is averaging 25.5 points, 6.5 assists, 4 rebounds a night, shooting 46% from the field, struggling with this three-point shot this year, about 29% from 3, and about 87% from the free throw line on 8 attempts a night. He's doing this on roughly a 31% usage rate, which would be the highest it's been in a few years, and I just feel like he gets double-teamed a ton. I feel like he's got to make most of the decisions for this Phoenix Suns offense, and I think he's fit in fairly well. I do wonder if he's going to be an all-star this year, and I'm also giving Devin Booker a benefit of the doubt because of a player he's been in the past, and I haven't really seen him in the playoffs in 2 years, and the last time that happened, they got swept by Minnesota, but I still think Devin Booker is one of the best scorers in the NBA, and I wonder how he would still look on a big stage, because we haven't really seen him play meaningful playoff games in a way. It's 2022. Coming in at number 13, I have Alperen Sengun of the Houston Rockets. Like, I'd love to know how you guys would rank Chet Holmgren, Evan Mobley, and Alperen Sengun. Kind of similar in age right now. Sengun and Mobley were obviously both in that 2021 draft. But Sengun this year has been another all-star, all-NBA caliber player. He didn't make an all-NBA team last year. I think he's going to make one this year. He was an all-star last year for the first time. He's definitely going to get all-star number 2 this season, averaging 23 points, up from 19 last year. He's averaging 6.9 assists, up from 4.9 last year. The rebounds are slightly down. Obviously, there's a lot of double big lineups with Steven Adams out there, and he's shooting 50% from the field. He's been a great co-star to Kevin Durant in Houston, a Rockets team that's kind of sliding a little bit as of late. They are 17-10 before their Christmas Day game against the LA Lakers, but I think Sengun has still been such a dynamic offensive player. I wonder if there's a level he can go up in crunch time as well, because I do feel like it's been kind of wonky this year with Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Sengun all late in the fourth quarter. Maybe that just comes back down on coaching, but I think Sengun is a top 15 player in the league. He's coming in at number 13. And coming in at number 12 is a former Finals MVP, Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. So going into this year, I probably had Jaylen Brown around like 15 or 16 in my top 50 player ranking going into this year. And Brown in just 27 games, so it's a small sample size, but 27 games, you know what, we're getting outside that small sample size, has been a great number 1 option for the Boston Celtics. In those 27 games, he's averaging 29.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 49% from the field, 36% from 3, and 78% from the free throw line. I think he's carrying a lot on the defensive end of the floor as well. I still worry a little bit about the turnovers and the ball handling, and we've just never seen him as a number 1 option in the playoffs, and I have no idea if Jason Tatum is going to come back this year, but Jaylen Brown has been playing like a top 10 guy this year, definitely an all-star starter deserving season in the Eastern Conference, and I think any questions that could he be a number 1 option are getting answered right now. Obviously, we haven't seen it in the playoffs, and that's why I'm kind of holding him back outside of putting him in the top 10 right now. But if you wanted to put him in the top 10, I'm not disagreeing with you. He's been freaking amazing this year. Coming in at number 11, I have another Finals MVP winner in the past, Kevin Durant of the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant is 37 years old right now, but this is probably the best team Kevin Durant has been on since like the 2021 Brooklyn Nets squad with Kyrie Irving and James Harden. The Rockets still have the 3rd best net rating in the NBA this season. And yeah, I said they've been sliding a little bit when I was talking about Alperen Sengun, but Kevin Durant has been amazing. He's been incredible this year for the Rockets. 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 51% from the field, 43% from 3, and almost 90% from the free throw line. He's at 89.6%. So he's on 50-40-90 watch for somebody that is 37 years old. He's still been an incredible mid-range shooter, incredible out of the post. Maybe you worry about it a little bit when he gets double teamed, and it's still the same issues with Sengun late in the game, but Kevin Durant has been a fringe top 10 guy in the league, and I know he's going to show up for you in the playoffs. And coming in at number 10, I have Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers, a player that we still haven't seen in the conference finals before, but Mitchell has just been on another level this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mitchell is averaging 30 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, shooting 50% from the field, 38% from three, and 85% from the free throw line for the Cavs. And he's just been one of the best scorers in the NBA, honestly, since he got drafted back in 2017. He's been an all-star every year since 2020. He does show up in the playoffs as well. It's not like he turns into a complete ghost, and that's why they don't make it to the conference finals, but I feel like there's another level he's on right now that not many other guys are currently doing. He also has the track record. He's a great playmaker. Once again, I don't know what his ceiling is in the playoffs. Like, can he be the shooting guard next to Darius Garland as a point guard, or can those two not coexist in the backcourt because they're two smaller guards? We're going to figure it out again this year in the 2026 playoffs, but I do think Donovan Mitchell is right there as a top 10 guy in the league, if not right outside it. Coming in at number 9, he's the best player on the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I have Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. I mean, Cade has been unreal yet again this year. I was so excited to watch him break out last year in 2025. We've seen him play at a high level before, but this level where he brought the Pistons to a 6 seed in the Eastern Conference, a team that won 14 games in 2024, went to the playoffs in 2025, and gave the Knicks a run for their money in round number 1. It felt like every game was close and either team could have won every game. Cade this year is averaging 26.5 points, 46% from the field, 32% from three, a little bit below average there on 6 attempts a night, 82% from the free throw line, 6.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists, and about 3.9 turnovers a night. Now, there's some bad fouls, there's some bad turnovers in Cade Cunningham's game. I cannot deny that, but he has been so good this year in the fourth quarter, and he's probably the best defensive point guard out of any of the 5 point guards that we're going to talk about in the top 10. He is really good on that end of the floor, 6'6", 220 pounds, super physical, super strong, plays in a good defensive ecosystem in Detroit. I have him here at number 9. If he has a good playoff run, though, he might be close to top 5 next year. Coming in at number 8, I have Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry's 37 years old, and he's still averaging 28.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists a night, shooting 47% from the field, 40% from three, and 91% from the free throw line. The Warriors have been very inconsistent this year. They're around 500 right now when I'm recording this, but Steph has still been the catalyst of this team's offense. He's still been one of the best offensive players in the NBA. I just wonder how the defense is going to look in the playoffs. Could he just get matchup hunted? Why are the Warriors not winning games when Steph is playing at a high level as well? Now, they have a complete size disadvantage sometimes when they have to throw Draymond out there at the 5. I could give Steph a benefit of the doubt because of the track record to put him higher, but I had him around this range going into the year, and I don't think I'm really changing my mind on that one. And one spot ahead of Steph at number 7, I have Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks, somebody that has shown up in the playoffs in recent years ever since he signed with the Knicks in that 2022 offseason. His first playoff series with the Knicks against Cleveland in 2023, he averaged 24 points per game. Then they lost to Miami in round 2. He averaged 31 points per game. Then it was 35 points per game in round 1 against Philly in 2024. 30 points per game in their 7-game loss against the Pacers that year. Then last year against Detroit, 31.5 points per game. In that series against Boston, 26 points per game. And then 30.7 points per game in their 6-game loss to the Indiana Pacers. Jalen Brunson has been one of the best offensive players in the NBA since he signed with the Knicks, and he's having the best year yet with the Knicks this season. 29 points, 6.5 assists, 48% from the field, 37% from three, and 85% from the free throw line. He just won the in-season tournament, was your NBA Cup MVP, and I do think he's deserving to be ahead of Steph and Cade right now. That might be the Knicks fan in me. You can let me know. But I think Brunson has just been that good this year and over the last 3+ years. And coming in at number 6, I have Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I actually think this is the spot everybody might have Ant right now. Maybe you have Kevin Durant ahead of Ant, or you have Steph Curry because of what they've done in the past. But Ant this year has still been one of the best scoring players in the NBA, and he has just been an unreal two-way player in crunch time. Like, we saw him against OKC when they beat them on that Amazon Prime game, and he was making big defensive play after big defensive play. And recently against the New York Knicks as well, he looked great on that end of the floor. He's averaging around 28.5 points this year, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 40% from three on 8 attempts a night, 49% from the field, and 81% from the free throw line. He's still just 24 years old. He's brought the Minnesota Timberwolves to back-to-back conference finals. You can't put him any lower than this, in my opinion. Coming in at number 5, honestly, he maybe could be higher, but it's just so tough. The top 5, I think, are in a tier of their own, and they're all international players. So coming in at number 5, I have Victor Wembanyama, whose numbers scoring-wise aren't like the highest this year. It's 23.7 points, which is great, but he's only played 17 games. He's dealt with a calf issue, and he's recently came back on a minutes restriction. So he's averaging around 30 minutes per game this year, shooting 51% from the field, 35% from 3, 11.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 3.1 blocks. It's just the thing with Wemby that we all know. He's in a tier of his own in terms of defensive talent in the NBA. He's by far and away the best defender in the league, and I think would win DPOY every single year if he hit that 65 game threshold. He won the Western Conference side of the NBA Cup bracket. He's looked so good against the Oklahoma City Thunder this year. Wemby's, I think, my clear number 5. I think he's an all-NBA first team talent. I do wonder if you could put him higher, but it's just so tough to crack that top 4. Because coming in at number 4, I have Luka Doncic of the LA Lakers. I mean, Luka has the track record. He's been a 30-point per game scorer basically every single year of his career outside of his rookie season. Luka's averaging a league high 34.1 points per game this year for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's taking about 12 free throws a night, hitting 10 of them, taking about 10.5 threes a night, hitting 32% of them, 45% from the field. He's also averaging 8.5 rebounds, 8.8 assists. This is a player you don't trade. We all know what happened. That was low-hanging fruit. And there are some flaws in Luka's game. I don't really like the defense sometimes. He complains a ton to the refs, and I think that could cost the Lakers some plays with their transition defense. But he's shown up in the playoffs. I think he's the number 2 best scorer in the NBA right now. He comes in at number 4. And I've always had Giannis in my top 2. He's been number 2 for quite some time. I've dropped him to number 3. I do think Giannis is now the 3rd best player in the NBA. Still an incredible feat. He's averaging 29 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists this year in 17 games. Has also been dealing with a calf injury as well this year. And we could see the Bucks being one of the worst teams in the NBA when Giannis isn't out there. He's shooting about 64% from the field, 43% on threes, but it's about a 3.5 a night. And he's shooting about 65% at the free throw line on about 10 attempts a night. We know that he's one of the best defenders in the NBA as well. I think out of anybody in this top 10, only Wemby is a better defender than him. It just sucks we also haven't seen Giannis playing a non-round 1 playoff series in about 4 years when we get to the playoffs in 2026, because his last meaningful playoff game outside of round 1 was a game 7 against Boston in 2022. But yeah, coming in at number 2, who's lapped him, I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning MVP, maybe the front runner for MVP right now, part of the best team in the NBA, the reigning finals MVP. Shai, in my opinion, is the best scorer in the NBA, and he's up there with Steph Curry as maybe the 2 best scorers from this century. 32.5 points, 5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 55% from the field, 43% from 3, which is crazy because Shai was not a great 3-point shooter to start off his career, but he's developed into a really good 3-point shooter this year. 88% from the free throw line on about 9 attempts a night. He is just unreal from mid-range. He doesn't miss, it feels like, when he gets to his mid-range spots. He's a part of probably the best team in the NBA, though. He's got great players around him. We've talked about 3 Thunder players here in the top 25. If you want to say Shai should be number 1, that's fine with me, but I still think Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. You can make an argument he's the best offensive player in the NBA. I think in terms of pure scoring, it's probably Shai and Luka, but Jokic is averaging 28.9 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. Yeah, 11 assists in the NBA for a 6'11 center. He's leading the NBA in assists for a center. That is just mind-blowing. And oh yeah, 60% from the field, 43% from 3, 84% from the free throw line. Still makes a play that I've never seen before every single night. And I know he didn't win MVP last year. They lost to the Thunder in 7 games in round number 2. I still think Jokic is the best player in the NBA. But if you want to say it's Shai, I'm not really going to disagree with you that much, but I still want to stand by Jokic is number 1. If Shai goes back-to-back in MVPs and Finals MVPs, then I think I got to give it to him. So yeah, that is going to be for me. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Let me know what you agree with or disagree with down below. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe if you're not already. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.